Welcome back, guys. This is Perfect Forex, your friend, your brother, and your favorite trader. Today, guys, we'll be doing a back test. I'll be showing you guys a few back tests on the boom and crash 1 minute scalping strategy. I'll be showing you guys how profitable this strategy is, how you can pick entries, and how this strategy works. And for those who have seen this strategy in my previous videos, and have been utilizing it, I know you have been making good profit out of this strategy. But then today I'll be doing more back test. I'll be showing you guys more analysis how you can pick trades using this strategy, using this trend line strategy on the 1 minute time frame on 1000 crash 1000, boom 500, and the crash 500 index market. Don't forget, guys, this strategy works on the 1 minute time frame. But before then, if this is the first time you are seeing my YouTube channel, is this is the first time you are coming across my page, I would like you to click on the subscribe button and also do to turn on the notification bell so that whenever I post new videos, whenever I get to upload new contents like this, you get notified. You'll be amongst the first people to be notified. And also don't forget to click on the like button if you find this video profitable, if you find this video um beneficial to you. Don't forget to click on the like button and don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section, as all this helps the algorithm of this video to reach more people. It helps the value in this video to reach more people. So guys, quickly let me get on to how this strategy works for those who haven't come across the video, for the who haven't come across this video and this is the first time you are coming across this video. I'll be doing a quick back test and showing you guys how this strategy works. This strategy is a 1 minute scalping strategy, and also it can be used to catch spike. You can use it to ride the market for 5 to 10 candles, and this same strategy can be used to catch spike. So guys, quickly I'll show you how you can use it to ride the market for about 5 to 10 candles before showing you how you can use this strategy to catch spikes. All you just need, you don't need to comb your charts with indicators. As you can see, this is a scalping strategy, but you don't need indicators. You don't need indicators to trade or to pick entries using this strategy. Indicators can lag, they can show you late entries, they can actually show you false entries, and you might not really be able to get a hold of the use of indicators if you don't really understand how the market works, how you can couple indicators with market structure. If you don't have a firm understanding or a background understanding of market structure, then you might not really be able to use indicators profitably. But this strategy does not really carry any indicator. All you need is your trend line and confirmation reasons. Your trend line and what? Confirmation reasons. So guys, quickly let me show you how you can pick entries. Can you see on the 1 minute time frame, what you want to do is draw your trend line at 2 points, at 2 price points, and wait for price to touch the trend line for the third time. Can you see at this point, price didn't really touch this trend line. At this point, price didn't touch this trend line for the third time before pushing to the upside. So this is not an entry reason. You will be entering the market based on this spike. You want the market to push to the downside the first time. The second time, after the market has pushed to the downside the second time, you take your trend line and mark it out. Once you've marked it out, you then wait for price to come back to the trend line the third time before entering the market for 5 to 10 candles. So guys, let's quickly do more back tests to show you guys where there are entry reasons. Quickly, I think I can see an entry reason at this point. Okay, can you see, guys? Can you see this point? Price touched. This is the first touch on the trend line. This is the second touch on the trend line. And as I said in the previous videos, you want to wait for price to break the previous structure. There are 3 confirmations you need to put in place. The first is that price must be touching the trend line for at least 2 price points, and the second price point must break through or break above the initial structure. Can you see this movement to the upside broke this initial structure, and then you then wait for the third touch on the trend line to enter the market for a buy on crash 500 and crash 1000. As I said, you will enter the market for a buy on crash 500 and crash 1000. And as you can see, you'll be scalping just 5 to 10 candles and you'll be exiting the market. Can you see scalping from the very touch of the candle on the trend line to this point? The market went to the upside about 16 candles. You'd have around 16 to 17 candles. You'd have gotten your 5 or 10 candles and you would have exited the market based on the entry criteria. If the entry criteria are not met, guys, do not enter the market. If the entry reasons are not met, do not enter the market. I am saying this emphatically. If the entry criteria are not met, do not enter the market. Can you see this point? Can you see this point, guys? Price touching the trend line for the first time, the second time. Although at this point, if I were to be the one, I wouldn't be entering the market because this push to the upside didn't break this initial structure. Didn't break this initial structure. So I might not be taking this as a confirmation to enter the market. But as you can see, touching the trend line for the third time pushed the market to the upside. Okay, quickly, let's do more back test for more entry reasons. For more entry reasons, guys. As I said, you can also use this for catching spikes. This strategy also works for catching spikes. Let me show you. Let me show you. Okay, there's no entry reason at this point. There's no entry reason at this point. Once I see an entry reason for a spike, I will be showing you guys. Okay, there's no entry at this point. There's no entry at this point. You would want to wait for, if after drawing, okay, let me see this point. If after drawing your trend line and then price didn't come back to that point, then you have to wait for another setup. This really isn't a clear setup, so I won't be taking this trade. I won't be taking this trade, guys. This really isn't a clear setup. You want to look out for clear setups. Clear setups. Don't force the trade. Don't force the trade. Look out for very, very clear setups before entering the market. And as I said, this strategy works on crash 500, boom 500, crash 1000, and boom 1000. So if you don't see entry reasons on crash 500, you can switch to boom 500, switch to crash 1000, or switch to boom 1000 for your entry reasons. For your entry reasons, at least in a day, you should be able to see up to 5 entries using this strategy to scalp either a buy or a sell. So guys, you don't need to force the trade. You don't need to force the setup. If it is not aligning, if the setup is not aligning, do not force it. Ensure that the criteria for entry are in place. The criteria for entry are in place. Look at this point, guys. To sell to the downside on boom 1000. Can you see the first touch? First touch, the second touch. Now, as I said, you have to look out for a very, very paramount confirmation, which is the break of structure. Break of structure on crash 500 and crash 1000. You want to wait for a break of structure to the upside, but on boom 500 and boom 1000, you want to wait for break of structure to the downside. Can you see this structure? This initial low was this initial low now, this initial high was broken by this push to the downside. Then the second spike to the trend line. Then you mark your trend line out and wait for the third touch. Can you see the third touch? Can you see the move to the downside? This is about 55 candles to the downside. But you would have gotten your 5 to 10 candles and exited the market. Do not force trades, guys. Do not force trades. If setups are not aligning on either of the commodities like 1000, then switch to the crash 1000. If you are not seeing any setup on crash 1000, switch to boom 500. And if you are not seeing any setup on boom 500, switch to crash 500. And if in a day you don't see any setup, which is most likely not going to happen, then do not take a trade. Do not take a trade. Don't force your trades, guys. Don't force your trades. Can you see? Look at this point. First touch, second touch, break of previous structure to the downside, then second touch, then the third touch on the trend line. Can you see the move to the downside? You would have gotten your 5 to 10 candles and you would have exited the market. You would have exited the market. So guys, I'll look out for one more sell reason. Then I'll show you guys how it works for catching spikes too. How it works for catching spikes. I am saying this emphatically. Do not force trades. If your setup are not aligning, do not force it. Do not force it. And how do you exit the market? What would you be looking out for your exit? If you want to catch spike, I'll be showing you that if you want to catch spikes and it is not spiking after 5 candles, 10 candles, 15 candles, then you exit the market. You will exit the market. I'll show you that very soon. Okay, look, I think there's an entry reason at this point. It's an entry reason at this point. Can you see, guys? Can you see? This is the first touch, second touch. This sell to the downside broke this previous structure. Can you see on the 1 minute time frame? Your analysis is done on the 1 minute time frame. So everything you'll be looking out for, all confirmations will be in accordance to the 1 minute time frame. So this is a 1 minute structure. This sell to the downside broke this 1 minute structure, touched the trend line for the second time, which is this second spike to the upside that will enable you draw this trend line. Once you've drawn this trend line, then what you'll be waiting out for, or what you'll be looking out for, is the third touch on the trend line. Can you see this third touch? Can you see the third touch? Then what you do next is enter for your 5 to 10 candles. So we have to ensure that these two touches are breaking structure. This first move to the downside broke the structure. Second move to the downside broke the structure. Then the touch on the trend line, the third touch on the trend line, enter for your 5 to 10 candles. So guys, let me show you how you can use this to catch spikes too. How you can use this to catch spikes. I think there's an entry criteria at this point. Okay, there's an entry criteria at this point. Can you see? Although this is a very, very small spike, but let me see if the entry confirmations are in, okay, yeah, the entry confirmations are in place. Now what we're looking at for is a place where price 2 price points where you can mark out your trend line. 2 price points where you can mark out your trend line. Can you see this spike to the upside broke this initial structure? The second spike to the upside broke this initial structure. Then you'll be waiting for price to touch the trend line for the third time. Once it touches it for the third time, you enter for your buy on crash, on boom 1000 and boom 500. And what you'll be looking out for to exit the market if the market hasn't spiked is you wait for at least 10 candles. At least 10 candles. Once the market sells for at least 10 candles without spiking, you can exit the market. 10 to 15 or 20 candles depending on your account size and your patience level. Depending on your account size and your patience level, because we as traders, we have different tolerance level. Although this actually is a very small spike, but can you eventually see the spikes to the upside? If you want to still hold this market, you can still hold it because the 10 candles hasn't been completed. Spike up to the upside, then sold, touching this trend line. I think it's about 14 candles. As I said, if you're waiting for 10 candles, then you'd have exited the market. But if you're waiting for 20 candles or 15 candles, then you can still hold and catch all this spike to this upside. So quickly, let me do more back test. Let me do more back test. In my previous videos, I showed you a live trade, how I was able to catch a spike using this strategy on a live trade, and from that point, price started spiking to the downside, spiking. That is on crash 1000. Yes, on crash 1000. You can go back to that video and watch it for yourself. Okay, we're not seeing any entry reasons at the moment on boom 1000. As I said, guys, don't force your trades. Don't force your trades. If you are not seeing any entry reason, then exit that commodity and go to the next to look out for entry reasons. Exit that commodity and go to the next to look out for entry reasons. So let's look out for spike, for reasons to catch spikes on um crash 1000. Reasons to catch spike on crash 1000. Quickly look at this point. I'm going to zoom it in for you guys to see. Can you see this point? Can you see? This is the first touch on the trend line, second spike, second movement to the upside, caused a spike to the downside, breaking structure. Can you see? This spike to the downside broke the structure, moved to the upside to touch the trend line. The spike to the downside broke the structure too. Now, can you see the third touch on the trend line pushed the market to the downside, and then cut all the spikes. We have caught all the spikes in the market about 28 pips, about 28 pips. So, guys, that's how this strategy works. You don't force the trade. Don't force the trades. Don't force the trade. After marking out your trend line, after 2 price points, then wait for the third touch. Wait for the third touch. After the third touch, then you can enter for your sell on crash 1000 or crash 500 to sell to catch downward spikes. And the opposite is the case on boom 1000 and boom 500. Can you see, guys? First touch, second touch, the third touch pushed the market to the downside about 50 pips, about 50 pips. So quickly, let's do that on boom 500. Let me show you guys some entry reasons. As I said, do not force your trades. Do not force your trades. If you don't see any confirmation, then go to the next commodity. Go to the next commodity. At least in a day, you should be able to see 4 entry reasons, either to catch spike or to scalp. Either to catch spike or to scalp. Can you see? This is the first touch, second touch, the third touch on the trend line, push the market to the downside. You have gotten your 5 to 10 candles and you'd have exited the market. This is on boom 500 for a sell, for a scalp. That is a scalp to the downside. And also look at this point too. Look at this point. First touch on the trend line, second touch on the trend line, the third touch on the trend line. Can you see the move to the downside? You have gotten your 5 to 10 candles and you would have exited the market. So let's look at for entry reasons for catching a spike on boom 500. Let's look at this point. Can you see this point, guys? Would have caught these small spikes. Okay, this is not really a clear entry reason, so I won't be taking this trade. If it were to be me, I won't be taking that trade. So, guys, that's how this strategy works. This is how the strategy works. It is a very, very simple strategy that if you follow it through, you'll be able to make good profit. Can you see? First touch, second touch, the third touch on the trend line caused a spike. We have called these spikes about 10 pips to the upside, and if you just want to scalp one spike, you'd have exited the market. And if you want to hold patiently, you can see the move to the upside about 30 pips in total to the upside. So, guys, that's how the strategy works. Hopefully, if we see a live entry, I'll be taking a live trade for you guys to see. But at the moment, there are no setups. There are no setups at the moment. There are no setups. Okay, I think this is actually okay. This is not a setup. There are no setups at the moment. So, guys, I can't take a live trade for you guys to see. But if you want to see where I took a live trade, you can go to my previous videos where I wrote live analysis, live boom and crash analysis, 1 minute analysis. You can go to that video and look out for yourself. Look out for yourself. So guys, that's that about this video. I'll see you in my next video. This is your friend, this is your brother, this is your favorite trader, Perfect Forex. Do have a great day and God bless.